morning. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sharon Solomon, Impact Organizer with Environment Massachusetts, the statewide citizen-funded advocacy group. We are here today to release a new report highlighting top solar states in the country. I'm joined today by New Bedford Mayor John Mitchell and Beaumont Solar President and CEO Phil Cavallo. First, I'll make a few remarks and review the key findings of the report, and then I'll turn it over to our speakers, and then I'll wrap us up and we'll take questions at the end. Our message today is clear. Thanks to strong state-level policies, Massachusetts is a national leader for solar power. But arbitrary limits on solar are threatening to change that. Our state's leaders should lift caps on solar power and embrace big goals in solar in the years ahead. Our new report, Lighting the Way, shows that Massachusetts ranks 4th in the nation for the amount of solar power installed in 2014, and 6th for the total amount of solar on the grid. While Massachusetts has more than enough sunshine to meet its annual electricity needs, it's not our solar potential that has made the difference. Instead, we've outpaced bigger states like Texas and California, or Florida and Texas, because of policies that allow increasing numbers of homeowners, businesses, communities, and nonprofits and utilities to go solar. Of the top states, all have renewable energy requirements, and 9, including Massachusetts, have strong laws to allow solar customers to connect to the energy grid and sell back their excess power. These laws have helped New Bedford lead the state in solar power. The city has 10 projects that are expected to save taxpayers $22 million over the next 20 years, and the solar industry has boosted the local economy. As of the beginning of the year, New Bedford had more solar per capita than any city in the country besides Honolulu. From 2013 to 2014, New Bedford helped Massachusetts retain its spot as the state with the 6th highest total installed solar capacity. But there are already signs that Massachusetts' solar industry has slowed in response to a limit on a key program known as net metering. Net metering allows for solar panel owners to receive fair compensation for the electricity they provide to the grid. In March, a cap on net metering was hit for 171 Massachusetts communities served by National Grid. As a result of the cap, many businesses, local governments, and nonprofits hoping to install solar panels are no longer able to do so. In July, the Massachusetts Senate unanimously approved a bill to lift caps on net metering. Governor Charlie Baker also introduced a bill to lift the caps, but the governor's bill would ultimately slow the growth of solar power by significantly reducing the compensation many solar projects receive under net metering. It would make it harder for many, including renters and residents in low-income communities, to access the benefits of solar. One good reason to lift the caps is the Obama administration's Clean Power Plan, which was finalized last month and set state-by-state limits on carbon pollution from coal and gas-fired power plants. According to research from Environment Massachusetts, solar power could easily meet about 3/4 of the pollution reduction targets required by the plan. When it comes to solar, we can't afford to rest on our laurels. Governor Baker and other state officials should lead the way by lifting arbitrary caps on solar and committing to a goal of getting 20% of our electricity from solar by 2025. Thank you. Again, our message today is clear. Massachusetts is a national leader for solar, and our state officials should continue the policies that have enabled Massachusetts to lead the way. Now we'll be happy, and now I'll turn it over to the mayor to talk about how New Bedford has led on solar.
Nice job. All right, good morning, everybody. It's a great day to generate electricity. We are standing here at one of our many projects built by the fantastic company of Beaumont Solar, based right here in New Bedford, led by Phil Cavallo. And we are here. Environment Massachusetts chose New Bedford for good reason. New Bedford is the unquestioned leader in solar in Massachusetts, and one of the unquestioned leaders in the country. In fact, if we get more days like this, we'll pass Honolulu. I'm sure of it, Phil. I'm sure that it's just around the corner. But we're very proud of our green energy efforts in the city for many, many reasons. One, it's a great way to save taxpayer dollars. We're going to save more than $20 million in the next 20 years because we've been very aggressive in pursuing our green energy initiatives in solar. And leading the city in that effort has been Scott Durkee, our energy director, who's here today. We're proud to be a leader in this because it makes sense. Also because it's a way to create jobs. It's created jobs in the city of Beaumont. It's created other related jobs in the city because of all the construction work that's been going on. New Bedford also strongly believes that as a leader in the green economy, that we can position ourselves, our brand, in a much better way. Let me explain that for a second. We have been very deliberate about our efforts in leading and embracing the green economy in the United States. And it's been solar, of course, but it's also been in positioning ourselves to become a leader in the offshore wind industry, which we believe is inevitably going to set up shop here in the U.S. and here in particular in New Bedford, given the wind resources off our coast. We've been a leader in the state in electric cars. We have more electric cars than any community in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We have the largest ESCO contract in the state, energy efficiency contract in the state, that has allowed us to retrofit all the streetlights, some 10,000 in our city, with LED technology, and to retrofit many of our existing city buildings. That's all well underway. The anaerobic digester that we have at the park is allowing us to turn organic waste into electricity. And then there's the trash system that we implemented a year ago that has, in the last year, doubled the city's recycling rate, which will allow us to save an enormous amount of money on landfill operation and then ultimately acquisition costs in the long run. So we are leading in a big way, and being seen as progressive on these issues, as being forward-leaning, as being opportunistic, is a great way for us to position the city's brand. New Bedford is a leader. We're not following the pack. We're out in front. And so it's in that context that we salute the work that Sharon and Environment Massachusetts has done to lead the way. It's this report that's being released today is authoritative. It's a way of getting out ahead of an emerging energy issue concerning net metering caps that so many communities are up against in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We want to continue to lead, and we really believe that with the folks at Environment Massachusetts, New Bedford and Massachusetts will continue to lead the country in all of these dimensions of green energy. So we're very proud of those efforts. We're very proud to partner with you guys, Sharon, and we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going in part because we have terrific partners. I want to introduce my friend Phil Cavallo, who's done a fabulous job in converting from an executive business sense a traditional sign company and reinventing it into a leader in solar energy. They built this place right behind us. They've done our other parks. They've done a fabulous job, and they've hired New Bedford residents along the way, and we're very proud of what you guys have done, Phil, in creating jobs for us, but also being a New Bedford company that's leading the way. So I just ask you to come up and say a few words.
Great. Thank you.
Phil.
Thanks, Mayor Mitchell. Thanks, Sharon. Great job. Just imagine $20 million over 20 years. When you think about the economic recession from 2008, there weren't a lot of jobs around. There weren't a lot of jobs. There wasn't a lot of energy. There wasn't a lot of things that you could look at. At that time, this city, with the leadership of Mayor Mitchell, basically embarked on a mission to build power plants that will last 20 to 25 years. And these power plants are going to save the city an operating expense, $20 million over 20 years. That's pretty significant. And if you think about it, there was no other income coming into the city. So the only choice the city had was to reduce their operating expense. The mayor and his staff has been able to pull this off. It's been a fantastic run. So let me start by just saying thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you, Sharon. Really thrilled to be here. The employees of Beaumont Solar are extremely thrilled to be a part and partner of this community. In fact, without the partnership with the city and the state, and without the advent of solar and the renewable energy benefits of solar, Beaumont Solar wouldn't exist today. So that's a very important point that I'd like to make. Specifically, my wife and I bought a 100-year-old sign company about 10 years ago, and we looked at this company as having a long reputation of 1,800 customers, great customer base, and we said, what else could we offer these people? And we were doing big things. We were installing billboards and we were installing signs all over the city and in the South Coast and the rest of Massachusetts. So what else could we do with this talent? And after briefly looking at wind, we launched into solar. And we did this with the assistance of the New Bedford Economic Development Council loan, a low-interest loan, and we haven't looked back since. Today, as a result of that loan and as a result of this partnership with the city and the state, we've grown this business tenfold over the past 7 years. So it is undeniable of what we've got here in terms of value proposition. Now, if we add to that the fact that solar, as we say, has a triple bottom line. It's undeniably good for the economy. It's undeniably good for the environment. And it's also great for creating jobs. So along with the mayor, I can say that this is living proof that we are basically helping the climate change scenario, we're helping reduce carbon emissions, and we're helping make a cleaner environment, and we're also delivering money, real money, to a city that needs it. And we're creating jobs. Oh, by the way, it's a fantastic thing. Now, one of the things that we're concerned about is that all this great stuff that's happening could come to a screeching halt. And that is if the net metering caps don't get raised, pointing back to Sharon Environment Massachusetts report. If the utilities have it their way, they would have us build an $8 billion gas pipeline that comes from Western Mass all the way through into Eastern Massachusetts and increase the volume of their revenue flow and the return on equity for their shareholders. This is not in interest and in keeping with the spirit of Massachusetts and the renewable energy economy. So what we'd like you to do is to think about it and say, urge you to call your state representatives and state senators and tell them to lift the net metering caps. Ask them to also keep the SREC program that it got in place with the Department of Energy Resources, and say that we're building community solar farms. You know, one of the arguments the utilities use is that grandma is funding the solar revolution in the state of Massachusetts. Well, that's not really true. And the fact is that because the DOER has created what's called community solar, we can build a farm like this one behind us, and we can net meter that to all of the customers in a given community. We're building one such community solar farm in Bourne, Massachusetts on the Cape. And any grandma can participate in that regardless of financial stature or age or whatever. And it is enabled by the Green Communities Act and by the net metering policies that are at stake. So I urge you to get in touch with your Congress, with your members of the state, House, etc., and don't let the utilities win this battle. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Phil. Nice job.
Thank you. Again, our message today is clear. Massachusetts is a national leader for solar, and our state officials should continue policies that have enabled Massachusetts to lead. Now, we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Sharon, is Governor Baker an ally in lifting the net metering cap? Do you feel, or does he still need to hear some get some convincing?
Sure. So, Governor Baker recently introduced his own solar bill. And while it's good that he's recognizing the urgency of lifting the net metering caps, his bill would actually put the brakes on solar over the long term. It would make it harder for many, including renters and residents of low-income communities, to access the benefits of solar. So the bottom line is that solar is good for Massachusetts. It's clean and sustainable and creating thousands of jobs. And rather than putting the brakes on solar, we should bring as much solar to Massachusetts as we can, as quickly as possible. And that's why Governor Baker and other state leaders should act immediately to lift the caps on solar power.
So he's not a big fan. So what is Environmental Massachusetts doing outside of having these events around the state to make the case?
Sure. So we're working to build public support behind the big goals for solar power. We're working to have a goal of by 2025 we can get at least 20% of our electricity from solar power in Massachusetts, and that's going to provide major benefits to our environment and economy. But we need the state officials to raise the net metering caps to make that happen. So far, we've worked with more than 300 city and town officials and 560 small business owners from all parts of Massachusetts to speak out in support of that 20% solar by 2025 goal. Thanks.
The problem is the public makes healthcare decisions based on how they feel. I have a tendency to call it the I feel good syndrome. If I feel good, how could there be anything wrong with me? I feel great. I just played full court basketball or 18 holes of golf. Most people can lose up to 80-90% of their kidney function and feel great. You can't make healthcare decisions solely based on how you feel.